Okay, we're back again to do Scorpio. Now, I am doing the twin flame energy separately for Scorpio. So if you are a Scorpion and you're a twin flame, I'll try and link the video after. Otherwise, stay tuned and we will check in directly after. Now, in the work domain for you guys moving into April, I'm sort of getting two energies. Yes, there's a method to the madness, and this is something that keeps coming up. It's almost like, to a degree, with the purging and the healing. Hi, Dale. You're passionate about it, but it could be that there's a lot going on at work. What's going to block you is hoping that it's going to get better. If you're working on something and you're passionate about it, it's going to go well. But waiting for that constantly to come, the self-worth energy comes in. This doesn't just have to be connected to your employment. It can be connected to study or any action plan that you have in mind that you're working towards in a sense of a goal, but it can correlate with your actual work domain. It may be agitation energy on the work front and other people not pulling their weight and you're frustrated. You're hoping they're going to get there, but, you know, you're sort of saying that they're not. I'm feeling a lot of energy where on the upside, it's showing that you can actually do the job, that you can achieve it. But where can other people step up where they're physically not? So it's almost like a codependent frequency of people needing on you. And a lot of times breaking those patterns, they go through our life forever and they come back and they go away because you relinquish your power. Really navigate that system this month, where if people are putting extra burdens on you and you're not getting the pay or an investment and the outcome, and they're saying it's due to the fact that I need to do something because I'm emotional, but excuses I'm hearing, it's going to impact you and it can make you quite cross this month, and especially with the retrograde season coming in. Saturn's going to be retrograde for 5 months. There's other planets as well. I'll do the astrology separately. That will frustrate you. Some situations were needing to be resolved, and you put things in place, and you put the mind to a point where you're seeing how things go. But I am seeing if they're not working, you're going to gain the clarity this month in relation to that. Financially speaking, you could be working towards something to reach its maturity. It hasn't quite yet. Other people as well might not be taking a mature approach or be seeing eye to eye with you in relation to what to put money into. So there can be a conflict, Scorpio, with either a partner or an investment or the process. But I'm sort of not seeing eye to eye. Mine's mine, yours is yours sort of energy going on. It might be that you want to be ruthless with your cash just because, and you haven't had the ability to do that. What will block you is constantly being mature. Again, it is about where other people aren't taking accountability. And that's what's going to block you, is having that compassion for that situation constantly. I do feel that can be something that's grating on your nerves. And again, with Saturn retrograde, what's not working, where people need to step up, this is really going to come through. And I'm also feeling the Venus frequency, so I'm going to really check at the placement of Venus during this transit. Whatever we're passionate about and not passionate about, it's going to start irking us. If we're putting the work in and others aren't, it will directly affect us, because this is a time frame of breaking karmic cycles, of moving into the frequency of accountability. It can come across very similar to 2017, where, you know, moving towards the end of it, there was a lot of frequency coming through where we were doing soul work, where we were, and especially 2018, really having a good hard look at ourselves of what we were to the core, what wounds were inside us, and the accountability, but the healing work. You've done that, but at the same time, it may feel as though the projection towards you is coming quite heavy. Family at the moment is two things. It's either lackluster or things are going with the flow. You're hoping it's going to kind of simmer down. For some of you, it can. But again, what's blocking you is if you're doing things to keep the pace, you can only go on for that for so long. Because ultimately what will block you is allowing immaturity energy to move in. Sometimes there is a reason why certain aspects of that energy comes through. Other times it can be due to the fact that people are quite codependent on you, and it's preventing them from maturing into the energy of taking accountability. So although you're keeping your cool, I do feel it's a test factor where, you know, if you've got children, if you've got a karmic, or you've got a partner, whatever this energy is, I do feel external to you, there's a lot coming towards you that is needing upon you, and it's really depleting your frequency. It's really making you tired. Other people around you can be saying, hey, you know, free yourself from this situation. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? What's blocking you is that constant hope that things are going to resolve, but not directly dealing with the 3D notion of what's going on. Again, if you can, what you can do is actually step back and let the pieces fall. And I know it sounds horrible, but sometimes it's the only way people can learn. It's just focus back on yourself. If that means the house falls to pieces, or you know, other people aren't doing things on their side of the fence, whoever that be, whatever that be, that can be at work, at home, with family, you're guided to actually free yourself from the chastity of that situation and allow the pieces to fall so lessons can be learned, so you can show during the Saturn retrograde what is and what isn't working. And it's not to say that notation we come back to and they say, gee, you know, you've really been helping with X, Y, and Z. But accountability, frequency, the healing of that is for them to see, not for you to tell, or vice versa. And the energies can swap between other people that are coming through. But I feel people are potentially even saying to you, hey, what are you doing? You know, why are you doing that? It can even be within a relationship. What will block you is you potentially see the bigger picture. That's normal. That's necessary because you're looking external to the situation. But do see other people's perspectives, and then you as a conscious energy assess what you feel is correct. What you're not seeing coming is what you're seeing coming. You intuitively know how this is going to go. Yes, your fears may come true, but if you manifest them, yes, they're going to come true. So be super careful about what you're tuning into. Again, what will block you is by not making peace with certain scenarios. It can also be that a family member has acted immaturely towards you in the past, and, you know, trying to find peace with that, especially with the nodes in Cancer and Capricorn, taking accountability on your side of the fence where it is, but allowing that person to resolve that. I am also seeing that the overall energy for you this month is not being honest. Now, it's not that you're lower frequency, it's you're assessing. There can be some throat chakra energies coming through where you're not saying things, and this can be too detached from codependent patterns of other people, not you, where they're needing upon you and they're depleting your frequency. You might be keeping your cards close to your chest in relation to the key to the situations. That's so they can energetically learn lessons. It's also, to a degree, a lesson for you for taking your power back and choosing what is correct for you on your spiritual path. You've got it in reverse, though, so you may be guided to listen, to hear other people's perspectives, and maybe you're waiting for some sense of conversation to come through and you're not wanting to actually communicate first. For those of you who are coupled, now your overall energy, smudge, stick, and reverse, okay? So coming through where you feel there needs to be healing, but you don't quite feel it's just on your side of the fence, and you're really wanting to work on this connection if they're willing to. If they're not willing to, I feel that's what's going to block you. So I do feel you're tuning into it. Your partner is actually sweating small things, but they're not looking at the bigger picture. So it's almost like a disconnect where they may potentially start being aware of what you're stressing about and what you've released, and now they're stressed about that factor that you're detaching. The detachment isn't from them directly as per se. It's from the frequency, perhaps from expectations, but perhaps from external situations that are impacting you. Really check in and see where you can take your power back, and don't go into consciousness of feeling that the same cycles are going to repeat. It can be a frequency that's coming in for you temporarily. And you might be even questioning if this person looks at you as a deep vibration soulmate within this partnership, or whether they do or don't value you. And it can be a very confusing energy that's coming through for you during this time. I'm seeing a lot of people meditating, assessing, thinking. The energy between you is let things flow, but it can be choppy waters as well. It can be rapids, or it can just be a flowing river. You pick your poison of what you want it to be. You know, if you're coming to a point where there's conflict and you can work through it, but you're choosing not to, this could directly affect it where it can become choppy. Both of you aren't sure how much to invest in. It can be through crosswords. It can be through conflict. So you've got unleashing your creativity, and that's the energy between you. It's like, what are we going to do to take this to the next level? And that next level can be anything. It can be having a child. It can be getting engaged. It can be moving house, or just the new version of what your relationship needs to be. Again, I'm seeing an assessment of, okay, where do we stand right now, and what do we need to do in this connection to get it to the new frequency? Again, that's directly correlating with March, with the moon frequency 0 degrees. That residue is still there, and Mercury goes direct completely by around the first week, but it still can be semi-heavy frequency. You do need to move the situation forward, and both of you are in awareness about that, but it's sort of like you're each waiting for each other to make the first move. This could be affecting the intimate connection or the manifestation of moving forward, and they feel really stuck. The healing in it, you're not sure how to proceed forward. You also feel that this potentially could be your partner. That's something in a sense of a wound or a past tense situation. You feel physically you have to let it go. You may also be assessing whether to stay or whether to go. But something needs to change, I feel, that you're feeling. Okay, this spiritual connection, it's like you feel they're disconnecting from you. You feel that maybe somebody is taking their energy, or that you're losing a grip on the connection. So it's like you're detaching energetically. You're not seeing the communication, I feel, is really choppy. And again, you've got honesty and throat chakra in reverse, and clarifying your soulmate in reverse for partnerships. You've actually got the theft card, and you've got conversations in reverse. So that's double throat chakra, where I feel you just don't know what to say. You don't know how to communicate. You feel you've expressed it, and you're just really concerned about whether this person looks at you as such. And I do feel you don't want to shortchange yourself. You want this movement and this change within the connection. I do feel there's other things potentially that have gone on that have affected it, but again, it can be rectified. The emotions, I do feel, is two things. It's either that you or your partner may be assessing movement with you and bringing it back to a fresh start, whining, dining, etc. Or it's that you're thinking, could there be somebody else, or potentially past tense, had there been? And this is where the conflict or the wound core is, that is asking to be purged. You are hoping that this movement can come forward. So it's not like you're leaving the situation. Any direct action you take is going to take you out of despair, but it needs to be dealt with ASAP. If there's conflict, especially with your partners in the sweat lodge. They're saying the truth of the matter, and I feel they feel quite remorseful. They do want to bring the chemistry back into the connection and manifest something, and I'm seeing celebration as such. For some, it could be a renewal of vows. For other, it could be correlating with a birthday or a celebration season. It could even be Easter. as in the movement physically moving forward. The entrapment is either you or your partner is wanting. They feel some of their power's being taken from them for a given reason, and this is their perspective. But they want to surprise you and change the scenario. Okay, both of you have, okay. Scorpio, you have passion. You want the passion back. You want the happy, the better roses, and you want it all. Okay? You feel if you can't have it here, you don't want to waste time. I feel you're ready to move. If you feel it can come back, you will be willing to actually put the work into it. Your partner has a heart chakra card as well, but they're being very unforgiving. This could either be directly connected to you or themselves for the past, and they're doing heart chakra work. The energy between you is in child, okay? So there can be some old wounds that you're dealing with or issues directly connected to children. Some of you might not be seeing eye to eye to do with duties, parenting, but there can also be the energy that some of you are wanting, but the other person doesn't. Your partner's esteem is affected, self-esteem. I feel they need the all clear and the green light from you in a sense of guidance of how to move forward. Unless they have that, I feel they're going in blind. You do have the creativity to speak this truth in order to help this move forward, because unless this happens, I feel it's going to block it. And yes, I'm hearing actions speak louder than words, but this person, this partner that you're dealing with, I feel needs a little bit of guidance. Those of you who are single, it can be that you've got a lot on your shoulders at the moment and you're really concerned about a love connection. It's not that you haven't done the healing. I feel potentially you feel they haven't. And again, a similar frequency to couples. Couples have flowing river, emotions running deep. Singles, you guys have spirit of water. It can be that you need to clear your thoughts. It can be that there's a lot of energy coming in where it's really affecting you emotionally. You've got to go back to knowing how this person works. What does work, what doesn't work. Again, Saturn retrograde. Go into that. Tap into what works in connections or in correlation with this person you're tuning into. You may even be able to utilize things from the past to actually apply to your path forward. Some of you might have just recently had a separation and you're really assessing it. And some of you are even feeling quite liberated at the fact that it's gone. Others of you that are moving towards a high vibration soulmate or twin flame, I will be doing that separate, but there is the vibe there. It's that some healing's happening in order for this situation to move forward. You don't quite know what way to go and how to deal with this. So I feel, again, you're pausing to gain clarity and you're waiting for potential tower moments to occur. I do feel you're needing the communication through. It can be affecting your health, but again, with the retrograde, it is quite difficult. Choose your words correctly, singles, especially if you're thinking, can I communicate? Should I communicate? The confirmation is yes, when guided to. This could be from your side or their side. Make sure your base chakra is in alignment. Again, your foundation, you're doing the healing work to a point where you feel open enough to take that next chapter. This can cause a lot of wounds coming up. But again, in the wounds coming up and releasing them is what opens the door for love to come in. Some of you are really dealing with a move of home, and this can be really upsetting the apple cart. You're not wanting to, you're concerned about romance, you're concerned about work. And you're wondering, you know, this cycle to you is getting very old, but you want the transformation and you know it's a process. So some of you in general might not feel at home in your own body or loved, or that a person is coming in like a knight in shining armor. You're very tired and you've done a lot of purging. You also feel that this energy is really, really getting old and you need the transformation to come through. What is the outcome for singles? Remember your path. I told you. Okay, this is part of your destiny. Detachment is part of the process. Understand that if this is destined for you, it's coming, especially since the clarification of what's coming is your soulmate. I'll see you on the other side. Love and light.